All right, what's going on, everybody? We are back and back in the office. It's always great to be able to do these reunion station episodes live in person. Makes it a lot easier when you have guests who are actually here and headquartered right in the Carolinas with us, just a couple hours away. Today we've got Scotty from Hippo Media Group here. He's going to tell us a little bit about Hippo, where they come from, maybe a background on the name, because that's not just as common as anything. But Scotty, we're pumped to have you on the show today, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped to be here as well. I'll be honest, I'm a bigger guy, so I'm just sitting here like I got the two good-looking skinny guys next to me, and I'm like, all self-conscious here. But no, I mean, so Hippo, oh gosh, that's why we put this on our website. If you go there, it's like 3 slides down. It's like the most common question we get asked. So it's fine that I start here. But in the car business, we all know there's kind of negative connotations, like PhD, Papa has dealership.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Hippo is highest paid person's opinion. When we started our agency, we wanted to make sure that we always paid attention to data, facts, and figures, to make our decisions. So it was kind of like a double entendre, But also, my dad was integral in it, and he was like, you can't say Hippo without smiling. And if you're going to be a marketing company, like from a branding perspective, it's a purple hippo. You're not going to forget it.
That's true.
And we've got the cookie side of our business now, and people remember Hippo and the purple hippo, and they know us because we always usually have purple suits on, like full purple suits. And that's kind of been part of our shtick. So like branding, we definitely pride ourselves in. But yeah, we're new. I mean, we're just over a year and a half old. We actually, much like a good band, our name started different. I don't know what Reunion started as, or if it started as Reunion, but we actually started with a different name, and it just didn't resonate. And we wanted to be like 2 oxen pulling together, working with our partners. So it was yoke. Like we yoke. Plus, like our founders have a pretty Christian-based foundation,
awesome.
So that like the yoke was very integral,
definitely.
but it just didn't work, and we were like,
Didn't
so
stick.
No, so then Hippo
like
came to fruition, and
here we are.
Yeah, we stuck with it, and it doesn't hurt that the 3 founders are pleasantly plump individuals.
Pleasantly.
But at the end of the day, a lot of people don't know this, but hippos are they're the 2nd deadliest animal in Africa. So the mosquito kills more people, but than the hippo. So it's the water
Mosquito
horse.
1, Hippo 2.
Yeah, man, hippos.
Talk about opposites.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's kind of that represents us and how we came to how we formed, and then also just throughout our careers, and even now, people don't expect us, and then we become below the surface.
I love it, man.
And that's kind of how we built our company, and that's we've got a lot of things that we're working on behind the scenes and growing, and I think one day our hope is the next 2 years, especially 2 to 3 years in the automotive space, for somebody to go, where the heck did these guys come from?
Yeah.
Love that.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so we're doing the slow growth. Like we're going to conferences, we're doing this stuff, but like 99% of the people watching this today are going to be like, I never even heard of these guys. And that's
exactly how
okay.
we did it. That's right.
Because that's part of our growth strategy. And honestly, we don't want to be everything to everybody. We want to get to a point where, we don't have a ton of auto dealers now. We're,
Scotty, so real quick, just before you get into the what, I just wanted to remind everybody, the reason for this podcast series is we're highlighting companies that we really like. So we really like what you guys are doing. You guys are doing some pretty awesome stuff. I mean, we've had a chance to really get to know you a lot over the last, really since NADA. So, I mean, we always like to say 2 minutes. What does Hippo do? What are the differentiators? What can dealers expect working with Hippo?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what. Thank you. I was
Perfect segue now.
Segue.
Yeah, you're ready.
Yeah. We had to insert the segue in there. So.
I think both business partnerships and partnerships, clients, right? Both the vendor, business to business, like our relationship with Reunion and Hippo, both be in North Carolina and just genuinely like to work, because you work with people you like, right? And that you trust and do a good job. And we're going to fulfill. But the integrity of the deal is just as important as the deal itself, right? And so so we work with people we trust and we know we're going to do a good job, and that's the reason I'm sitting here. And so right back at you, right? So we've been just as impressed, and we're so excited I'm so excited to be sitting here with you guys today. Really what differentiates us is, so this is not me, but my business partner, like in our flyer, it'll say like, we're like other marketing agencies, except our clients love us.
Oh, that's good,
and it's kind of like a slight dig, but that's hard because we're sitting here with. But like, I think that's comical, but it gets the point across, right? We work and we make sure. One of the 2 things that make me the most proud is since we started our company, we did have 2 dealers that left us, so we had some attrition in the automotive space, but both dealers have come back.
Perfect.
And so
And that feels good.
Yeah,
that feels real good.
It really does.
So
And
100% retention
100% right
because
now.
now that they're back.
Today.
Yeah,
Today.
Knocking on wood for you.
Yeah, and so because of that, one of the dealers actually bought out they went with another agency and bought that contract out to come back to us.
Oh yeah.
And that was that's really neat. I should say the second one isn't 100% official yet, but I just went down there and met
feeling
with
good
them.
about it.
Yeah, they're coming back in September or October, right? I've kind of gotten the verbal, so I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but I'm feeling really great about that one.
So why do they love you so much? What are all the things, the reasons why you guys have that 100% retention?
So a lot of agencies and a lot of people that are going to sit here are going to tell you about how they're great at buying media and all that stuff, and we're going to do that too. My business partner, we have seats on the trade desk. We have all the stuff that everybody else does, right? And we are. We're great at buying media, obviously, but there's only so many ways you can look at cost per point. There's only so many ways to buy used cars near me. We're great at it, but we're really good at the creative. And we're really, making sure that you're targeting the right person is one thing, but making sure that the message that you're delivering to that person, I think is, kind of like one of my favorite shows is Mad Men. And like that old, like where they're sitting there with a storyboard. And that's what makes me excited about marketing. Is figuring out, right? Because I think
what that message is.
Correct. You can be really great at targeting people, but have a terrible creative, and it falls apart. So I think we're really, really, really good at the creative part. We obviously have, the videography and the photography is in the house. You guys need 8, 10. We figured out how to have somebody flying a drone while someone else is interviewing the GM or the parts manager, the service manager, and we'll get that content, and then we have the B-roll. We'll go in town. We'll get the B-roll of the local city so that when, it's not that BS tier 1, tier 2 that everybody sees on car commercials, right? And it's not the $3.99 lease. Don't get me wrong.
Screaming at you to get the deal done.
There's a place for that. We just brought on actually a really cool client up in Wichita.
Cool.
And they have that kind of messaging. And we love it because it plays into their stuff really well. But it doesn't always have to be that. And it's interesting because when you sit down with a dealer principal and you ask them why should we buy from your dealership, they don't always start with price, right? And it's just interesting that when we always default to the same stuff,
same core
and
things.
then and you're just like, man, it's the definition of insanity. You do the
Right.
same thing and expect a different result.
Oh, totally.
Well, of course it's not working, right? But we also believe that we've got the data to prove it. But it's like that. It's like what's the name of it? Oh shoot, with Cole Trickle, 1980s.
This is Dave's wheelhouse.
Days of
now.
Thunder.
So
Days of
talking
Thunder.
1980s movies.
Yeah, it's like it's like Days of
Was that a dig? The 80s were great.
It's like Days of Thunder, right?
Yep.
I mean, we'll do it 50 laps my way and 50 laps your way. And I've actually said this on the Car Guy podcast too, so just kind of
Awesome.
regurgitating something I already said.
Oh,
But it really is. We've figured out, digital is faster, quicker. But you also have to have that traditional. You have to have a media mix that keeps your name in their mouth as well.
Yeah.
And when you lose that top of funnel, you lose over time.
I think
And that's been proven out many, many, many times. I just think that television's changed, right? And
Right.
radio's changed. It's podcast now. It's it's CTV. It's all these things but they're still the same stuff, right? Like somebody told me one time, radio's going to go, and it's like, no, it's not. Like it's just turned into podcasts.
Sure.
People are still they're still gonna want to listen to something while they're working out or they have their
In the
eyes
car.
occupied,
Right. Yeah, totally.
That's never gonna go away.
Makes sense.
And but I think I was watching a thing with Zuckerberg and the new Ray-Ban glasses, and we're doing a podcast right now, but you can wear the glasses, it'll map your face, and then you can see the hologram of the people next to you. And
pretty sweet.
It is. And then the other side of this equation too is
That's for the next episode.
the AI. Well, like AI right now. I had a conversation yesterday with a great company that we work with. Anyway, they were equating this to it's like AOL in the beginning. You remember when you'd see the 3 squares and you'd see the little guys load with and it would come to that would finally you would be online. Well, that's the stage of artificial intelligence that we're in.
I like it. So tell me, okay, so you're doing a lot. I mean, you guys are covering the gambit for dealerships, right? From traditional to digital. We just talked about podcasting and stuff. When you're looking at where you think media is going to go in the next, and if you are a dealer today, is that kind of what you'd be putting your budget towards? Or, obviously you guys look at, and correct me if I'm wrong, more than just auto. So you pull in some insights from outside of the auto too.
Yeah.
So, tell me where you think from your seat and your experience, what's the next phase for marketing for dealerships that they should be looking for?
I don't know, that's hard. Okay, so I was really blessed because I cut my teeth in the car business. I learned from my failures, quite honestly. I had 3 months to prove myself, and then, I had $150,000-$200,000 a month budget and made it work, right? And then we went from 130 car dealership to over 270 right before we sold. And then I, did it again and again. And so when you've done it a couple times, it's like, okay, there is a method to the madness. But I'd say I push back to our dealerships because I'm like, no amount of marketing is going to change your 140% price to 140% of market, right? Yeah. Like cars sell
Still
cars.
Back to the basics,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yep.
Cars sell cars. It's A plus B equals C. Like the messaging plus your cars and your inventory mix equals the sale. So that's always going to stand true. And then life's just a party. It really is just a party. And it's people want, like, so when I became an SAE, that was the fraternity I joined. You get to go rush all these houses, but ultimately you join the people you're going to have the most fun with and the people you fit in with. And I think, a dealership, so a big part of, so let me caveat. So in our first year, a big part of our clients is we probably have more outdoor preserves across the country than most any other agencies. We grew that very quickly.
Sweet.
Just because I'm a big duck hunter, a big outdoorsman. Even though I'm a big guy. Obviously, I like to duck hunt because all I got to do is stand up and shoot, right? Not too much. Working there. Saltwater fly fishing is my favorite. I stay on a boat. Fat man friendly, let me tell you. But no, so yeah, I mean, but it is. It's just a party. And so a big part of our success, honestly, is that, we've got a lot of preserves, and we treat our dealership clients there, and we treat our other clients there.
Very
We treat
cool.
our business partners.
White glove treatment, man.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that I think, life's about having fun. So have fun in the business that you're in and do it well. And if you're at your dealership and you're making social media content where you're having fun and
Love
you're
it.
doing that and you're treating, I mean, look, nothing I'm going to do is going to beat word of mouth marketing.
Amen.
Right. And nothing's going to be like, I know I'm regurgitating stuff that's been said many times, but it's ABC, right? Always be closing. Well, now it's turned into activity between customers.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you, you go to these dealerships. Like drove past, like I think it's so cool, by the way, that you guys are here and with all the dealerships around you.
Yeah.
But I went past
Purposely
them.
planned.
Yeah, purposely. Yeah.
Live in your environment.
Live in
That's
your
right, man.
environment.
That's right.
Yeah.
Breathe it.
It's cool, y'all. If you haven't been here, you need to come. This is a cool office. It really is. But I was there and looking across, and you just see these sales guys waiting for the up bus.
Yep.
And you're just like, man,
It's not coming.
no. And
Not the same way.
and it's just, but then you gotta, like right now it's like, inflation, interest rates, all, you don't want to use these as excuses, but it's also like, be realistic.
Yep.
And there's so many
Totally.
dealers, and like, so we're month to month.
Yeah.
We don't do contracts. We're always month. If we're not
A lot of
earning your
dealers
business,
are gonna like
but I
hearing
can't
that,
tell
yeah.
you. Yeah, I can't tell you how frustrating it is to start a business partnership and then go like 60 days in, and they're like, "Well, we haven't moved a needle."
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Patience.
So yeah, well, so we it's just making exactly. So we've learned from we're not perfect, but making sure that it and
Well,
I think
perfect
it's-
retention though. I'm still impressed with 100% retention. You guys are doing something right.
And we're lucky because of our success in the other verticals, and because of our partnerships. We're going to buy our way into just under 100 dealerships pretty quickly, and we've got really good. We're good. We're growing slow. We're not gonna I will say no to business if we can't handle it and do a good job. So and then that like 150 to 200 dealer mark. I mean, ultimately, in the next 5 years, I would really like to have about 200 to 250 clients across the country. We don't compete against ourselves. If another dealership of the same OEM brand is within 75 miles, we won't work with them.
That's awesome.
Every it's not like a one-off thing. It's
That's
all
what
the
it
time.
is. Yeah.
And
Very cool.
And it might not be that big, but ultimately we want to get to the point where we go to an NADA or one of these conferences, and we've got a wait list.
Yeah.
And then we can just start charging what we're worth. I don't think we charge what we're worth transparently, but
We get it.
But
you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can tear that up. And
yeah,
I think
one day I think we're going to be able to. And right now, but the way our pricing works is we're a flat retainer.
Yeah.
So
smart.
we're a fractional CMO in the dealership. If the
Very cool.
dealership, if the dealership's spending like $1.50 on keywords, well, that's their money,
Love it.
not ours.
Yep.
It's,
And we're so tired of running into other people that hide the pickle.
I think it's, I mean, obviously you said so many things there, which is why I think there's so many common philosophies of the flat rate and protecting the dealership. And I think that's why we've obviously got along. And you said things that you tie back to some previous episodes we've had. And we had Jonathan Thompson on recently and talking about tier 4 marketing and word of mouth. And like, there's just this idea of getting back to the basics of marketing, getting back to the basics of selling cars.
Future marketing is getting back to the basics.
Yeah, and I think it's great for companies like us that really care about the dealer themselves. So I think you guys are doing the right way. And that steady growth is, you know, what allowed us to be here, right? And I think it's the people that explode and then kind of trickle down. That's what has given a lot of marketing companies, let's call it what it is, not the best reputation always, right? So I think you guys are doing it the right way, man.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I love being here. And, you know, some of these are like, you know, it's genuine though, you know, because some of these are like, you know, whenever you do a podcast, obviously it's for a benefit of sharing where we're at. That's I get that. But like, I also want to say we're not experts at everything either. So there's a reason that we partner with companies like Reunion. It's like, yeah, can we handle SEO? Like, sure. Like, well, we understand schema and indexing, and we can set up Search Console and get all that stuff rolling for you. But you're going to get, like, the cola version at your supermarket. If you want Coke, if you want Pepsi, if you want the people who have mastered this, then go to Reunion, right? Because you can't be masters at everything.
Amen.
And that's the biggest frustration I've had is just all these, you know, yeah, we do a lot of different things, but we also just.
But like you know where you're where you really excel.
Correct, and we're also willing to say like, okay, well, I think this person would be a good partner, and I think you guys are as well, and I think that's the exciting thing, and I think if I was a dealership and I had a vendor partner and they weren't willing to say, oh, this other company does this well, or you know, or talk about that, that should have sent alarm bells.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah. Well, you know, and so I think that really highlights. I mean, if you can tell why we like Hippo, why we like Scotty, why we like that team. I mean, a lot of great stuff. 100% retention. I still think that's so awesome.
Well, not yet. Let's be
99.9. We'll go with that.
We're very close. But, if they see this podcast, I'm gonna send this to them and be like, hey, don't make me a liar. I'm gonna have to go back because that's what I don't want to be. Like, I don't want to say something. But yeah, no, I mean, that's, you know, that statistic is what I get. What I got really excited about, you know, in this quarter, and it makes me really excited, and you know, and then obviously, I mean, we're not going anywhere. I mean, that's the cool thing is just like where we're at with our other clients in other verticals. We've got staying power in this industry, and I think once we're not, you know, we're not the biggest agency, and we're a boutique. We're a boutique. It's just like another way of saying small, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know if I want to, but we pay attention to our clients, and here's what we are. I don't know if we're boutique. I'm a fiduciary of a dealer principal's money. If
SAT vocab.
Yeah, well,
but
like if I
wouldn't need the dictionary for that.
Well, if I wouldn't spend the money myself, I'm not going to tell them to spend it. And you know, there's been so many times where I've told dealers to put money back in their pocket. Sure. It's like, hey, I want to spend this much money on it, or I want to spend $500 on TikTok. No.
Yeah. Transparent, objective, budgeting.
Like,
that's
why?
The way to do it.
What is that going to do?
Yep.
Well, I was told my 20 group told me to do that. Like, okay. Well, somebody needs to tell your 20 group that like a $500 on TikTok's not going to do much.
Not going to move the needle.
Right? And then like, you know, so, I mean, but then at the end of the day, like I said, you know, just pay. The other thing is with pay-per-click, as you asked me what I think is going to change, I think how people search is going to change. Okay. And I think that partnering with a company like ours, and then from an SEO standpoint, because the pay-per-click and the quality score, and just as important on the other side of this. Right now we're getting into a teaching moment, but like that quality score is like 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10.
Yeah, you're paying 2.5 times.
Correct. Yeah. And pay-per-click can only affect so much of that. Right? Because the landing page experience, like there's all the things that go into that. And
there's a lot of SEO and SEM that come together.
There's a lot.
Really ups that quality score and saves dealers a ton of money.
Correct. And then, you know, just the flip side of that is like, you know, they have a performance max campaign that they think's crushing it for them. And then you look in there and, you know, it's all their name.
It's all brand name.
It's all brand name.
It's all broad.
Yeah. And then they've got like a $20,000. Let's
get on a soapbox.
They'll have a $20,000 a month television budget that they're paying for twice because they're driving the traffic from their TV ads to their website, which then they're clicking on twice. They're spending money twice. They would have gotten that anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so many people. That's where you get frustrated, but you want to help. And then at the same time, is when a Chevy dealership comes in and works with Hippo, then all the other Chevy dealerships, you know, that's where like I do become a car guy again, and it's
Yeah.
like that's my competition.
Get 'em,
Yeah.
get 'em,
When
get
they're
'em.
drowning, I hand them a fire hose.
That's
You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
when you become a dangerous hippo.
Yeah,
so.
that's it.
That's what. Yeah,
It's-
exactly. So
well,
we're fluffy and big until
Until
we're
you're
So you gotta be.
dangerous.
Until we're
yeah.
dangerous.
But that's the way to be, and you should be champions for your client, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we're there for. I mean, if your marketing department's not mean, there's something wrong.
That's perfect.
So,
Man.
Yeah.
well, Scotty, with that, I mean, so we like to keep short videos. We could talk on and on and on, and we're going to actually. We're going to spend some time this weekend together and just chat and chat and chat. I mean, you can see why we really like this guy. So if anyone wants to get hold of you and so wants to learn more about Hippo, tell them how, and then we can say thanks and wrap up.
All right, I'm gonna give my cell phone number. So my cell phone number is 704-678-4311.
Boom.
And tell them that you saw me on, or tell me that you saw me on Reunion, and we'll figure out some deal.
I know,
I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
$5. That's all we look for.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
in all honesty, just call my cell. Just call my cell phone.
As genuine as it gets, right
Yeah,
there.
and yeah, call my cell. We're gonna be there for you. We're not so big that we're not gonna answer the phone, and we are switching our phone line this week, which is exciting. So we do have our office line, but yeah, that's why I get my cell phone, because I was like, oh man, somebody, I don't know when y'all put these out.
I couldn't tell you what our office line is right now, so
Yeah.
I think cell is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But and then my email is just my name, SCOTTIE, Scotty at hippomg.com. So hippomediagroup.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Again, Hippo, we love you guys. So.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Scotty.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
you.
for having me. See you guys.
All right. Yeah, and so once I mean, Evan's gonna.
Because ours is like